accountant, Jack, to offer some words.
This is Stanley's accountant.
About 40 years ago, I got a call from the Harris Bank. They were looking for an accountant for Stanley. The way the connection was made, that the president of the Harris Bank bought one of the paintings of Evelyn. And they were concerned that he doesn't know how to handle the business. He had a good product, but he had to sell it. And he established his company, and we got together, and slowly we became friends. And as we became friends, I got to know someone who was a genius as far as he has a PhD in physics, and he's worked for the Argonne Laboratories. And he had to leave the company because he invented this product called Speakeasy, which is a software product. But the software product started to make money, and Argonne National did not want to be in the business of making money because they would lose their exemption. So he said they suggested to Stanley, go and start something on your own. So he put together a team, and we worked a lot with these people, and it became successful. Evelyn was not involved in the business, and Tess was a little bit away from her discipline. She was an artist, and an artist and a scientist, they don't get together too well as far as the professions, but they were very close. And he always asked me, told me to have to ask Evelyn. Anyway, he could have been a Bill Gates if he was a little bit driven financially, but he didn't care for that. He liked to have the ease of going to the office, going to the business club to eat lunch, and that kind of stuff was appealing to him. But the people from the business, the software business, IBM and many others, have contacted him for help. His product was used, as far as I know, at the Federal Reserve System, and many other banks in the world, even today, up to Bank of Italy is using it. And that's how we grew together. I was a partner in a local firm, and 2 years later I went on my own, and he was very helpful to me in terms of, paying his bills on time and so forth. And that's how we got together. Anyway, later we became also socially befriended with Evelyn and him, and we went out and we had a lot of good times. I want to mention here David Selmer. He had no children. They had no children, and David really took on the position of a son. He really took care of him even up to date. It was Mary and Pam and Paul. These were all very close people, and they loved him. And even today, they kept this contact, even when he sort of lost his faculties a little bit. And the last 3 years were horrible. But one of his concerns was that what will happen when I get old is I don't have anyone to take care of us. So this thing takes care of it. One other thing here. Anyway, it's quite a pleasure to be his friend for many years, and we'll miss him.
Thank you so much. And now it's my honor to call upon David to share some memories. Such a beautiful bond they've shared.
If anybody else wants to talk, feel free. Jack already took most of my talk. I'm David Selmer, and I was Stan's corporate attorney. And as Jack said, Stan was shown the door at Argonne National Labs because the software program was too successful. And I was with the law firm that Harris Bank put Stan in touch with. And I was this young kid right out of law school, and a little wet behind my ears. And this was an exhilarating time for Stan, but it was also terrifying. He'd been in academia his entire career, and he didn't know anything about running a company. And fortunately, an experienced accountant got involved. I was an inexperienced attorney, and usually, young attorneys never meet clients. We work behind the scenes, and the partners take care of all the face time. But fairly early on, I was introduced to him. He's probably the first client that I met face to face, and you would think that he'd be terrified having this young kid doing all of his corporate legal work, but he was willing to go with it. And just as with Jack, we developed a very, very nice relationship. The last few years were tough. I visited with him quite often, and we would talk about old times. His memory was not bad long term. He couldn't remember what he had for breakfast or if he had breakfast, but if you would talk about stuff in the 40s and 50s, he could remember the two cousins, his brother, and growing up with them in Los Angeles, his years at USC, Cornell, obviously, Beta, who he adored. And so we could talk about that. I didn't get to know him until 1978, so I didn't know anything about this previous period. But he started writing an autobiography in 2004. So many times when I would visit, if he didn't want to talk about the state of the company, and that's usually what we would talk about, and I would always say, well, here's what I know, but talk to Mary when she comes to visit. She'll give you all the details. But when we weren't talking about that, I would pull out this autobiography, and we would read it together. Usually I would read a page or two, and that's about all he could handle. And so we would pick different segments of his life. And usually at the end of the discussion, he would be so thankful. Oh, thank you for writing this. Well, Stan, actually, I wrote this. You sure did, and I'm so glad you did. Of course, then he said, well, what are we going to do with it now? And I said, well, at the very top, it says, this is really a draft. You're still working on editing it. Because he would always ask, well, what should I be doing? And one of the things is that, you're editing your autobiography. Or one of the things he thought he was doing was working on a new reference manual for speakeasy. So these are the kind of things that I would throw out there to keep him busy. But to a certain extent, I thought I was living vicariously through his life because of all of these people that he knew. I don't know people like that, but these Nobel Prize winners, and Richard Feynman. I know about him because I watch A Big Bang Theory. And so Sheldon is always talking about Richard Feynman, what this deity in the physics world is. And I asked Stan about that once. Like I said, he adored Beta. You and Richard Feynman were about the same age. He was a young professor at Cornell when you were a grad student. Oh yeah, we all hung out together, played ping pong with him. And I heard he was just a brilliant physicist. And Stan said, yeah, not so much. But Stan, he won a Nobel Prize. And he's renowned for being able to give these lectures so the doctoral candidates could understand it. Yeah, not so much. If you were smart enough, you didn't need him dumbing it down. But and just these anecdotes with various people that he had run across in his life was just amazing. The other thing that I'll point out, as you all know, he had this curiosity, this fascination with everything mechanical. I guess that's what made him a good software programmer. But it was almost like a childlike curiosity. He loved puzzles, and we would take him little toys that children would like, and he adored it. At the Admiral, and of course the company had all of these promotional items. And I wish I had the Speakeasy umbrella today. Judy Alexander brought hers, but I didn't.
Mine's in the car, David.
Oh, that's good. We may need those. I hope you brought extras. But coffee mugs that would change color as you put in warm liquid.
Flashlights, yeah. Those finally ran out of battery.
Which flashlight are you talking about?
Look at that.
Yeah, well, and actually this, he reminded me of John D. Rockefeller. Rockefeller would go out and hand out dimes to people he saw on the street. Stan would hand out flashlights. We would be at lunch, and he'd give a flashlight to the waiter. People that he just met, and he'd give a flashlight. He always had a whole bunch of them. But now, unfortunately, Josh and Judy will remember this. He also had a Speakeasy Swiss Army knife, a miniature Swiss Army knife. And when he moved to the Admiral, he not only had a flashlight in his pocket, but he had a Swiss Army knife, and we didn't know. And Josh, had done wonderful research and said the Admiral is the place I want him to go. And for many reasons, one of them is a state-of-the-art security system, where the residents on the memory care floor can't get out. And that's done by a sensor and a wristband.
Oh no.
But other people, visitors, can leave. The elevators don't shut down unless it's a resident that gets on. Well, within a couple of days, I get a call from Judy, and he got loose. He got loose. I'm like, what do you mean? And come to find out, he'd been watching the elevator. He couldn't figure out, some people could use it, but others couldn't. And so he's looking, and he figures out, look, it's this thing on my wrist. So he pulled out the Swiss Army knife. He not only got out without anybody seeing him on that floor, and there are staff people that have offices right by the elevator, but he got all the way out on the street on Foster Avenue. He was getting in a cab to go back to Evelyn, which is, he lived for Evelyn. He would always forget that she had passed away, and usually at the end of the day, he would say, we've had really a wonderful visit, but I have to go home to Evelyn. Evelyn is expecting me. Things got a little shaky at that point, but it's just something that he could never get out of his mind. And after that first time, they confiscated the knife. They didn't bring it, but he got loose again. So they instituted what I call the Stanley rule, where they physically locked the elevator down, and so nobody could leave unless a staff member was there to unlock it. And we always had to be careful that if we were leaving, that he was distracted, because of course he'd want to come with. But it was just kind of fun. I'm going to be interested to see when I go back to the Admiral whether they've now gone back to the old system. But we'll see, because they didn't have problems with any of the other residents, but just him. And I guess in closing, I've got a lot of stories, but one of the things that he would always say at the end of our conversation is, I had a really good life. Stanley, you had a wonderful life. And sometimes he would ask me if I had a good life, but usually he would say, I've had a really good life. He certainly did. If anybody else wants to talk, feel free. We've got time before the cemetery.